Welcome to our weekly Maritime vlog. I'm Corey Ransom with International Maritime Security Associates. We have Bennett, the producer, behind the camera with us today. Today, we're going to give you an update on blockchain. In past episodes, we've talked about blockchain technology and it's kind of coming to age in the maritime industry. In fact, we did two kind of in-depth episodes on blockchain, and we'll have both of those linked down below so you can get a little background for this. If you're new to the channel or new to blockchain, basically blockchain is the distributed ledger technology that was created to track Bitcoin transactions. Now, whatever you feel about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is one thing, but something interesting is really happening with the blockchain technology where it's moved outside of Bitcoin into potential uses in industries across almost every single sector. And there's a lot of really interesting and amazing things that we think are going to happen in the maritime industry as this moves forward. So blockchain technology, like I said, is really just a distributed ledger where you have more than one party that has to be responsible for a transaction. Blockchain is a great way to really store the information of that transaction. Now, a lot of people throw the word immutable around when it comes to blockchain, which basically means that you cannot go back and change the block once it's been put in. And that's the premise of blockchain technology. Now, we could probably talk all day on that subject alone. If you do just a quick Google search, you can find there are some purported hacks to blockchain where you can get in and make changes to, but it's not as easy as you would think. Blockchain is really a great way to be able to store in that distributed ledger transactions between multiple parties. So what happens is if you and I are working on a transaction, that goes into a block. And then any information that follows would be on a succeeding block. So every block builds on the previous block. And the nice thing about it is, if there's ever any type of a dispute as to that transaction, we can go back to the block where the block is really stored and maintained outside of our organizations and see exactly what the details of that transaction are. So that's a really simplistic way to explain blockchain, but there's a lot of really interesting and cool uses that we see for this in the maritime industry. We've talked in our previous vlog about the blockchain technology and really what is developing as the largest partnership right now in the maritime industry. However, that's rapidly changing. The partnership between IBM and Maersk is a fairly substantial partnership where they've actually tested using blockchain in the shipment of a cargo container. It was a very successful test, so they've developed a joint venture partnership to be able to really move this technology into the maritime industry. As you know, IBM is really on the forefront of developing blockchain technology, and they've actually moved this really into a public space where users of blockchain or potential users and programmers can really coordinate and work together on an open architecture and open structure. So it's really cool to see that that's really been moved almost out of the purview of IBM into an open architecture and structure so that developers from around the world can really contribute to the advance of this blockchain technology. Since we talked about blockchain in the past, the reason we wanted to do this video was to give you some updates specifically for the maritime industry. There have been a lot of advancements and a lot of announcements over the past couple of months of blockchain technology being used at different ports and different organizations. So the port of Abu Dhabi has moved forward with using blockchain in some of their operations. The port of Brisbane in Australia is another port that's moved forward to integrate blockchain operations into some of what they do. And we're going to continue to see this at different ports and different shipping companies and different organizations around the world as everybody really gets a handle on how blockchain can really help to improve the maritime industry. The Saudis are doing a lot of work in blockchain to really help push that forward as well. So it's really cool as you really kind of start to look down the list of all the different things that are happening within that. There's a group of insurance companies that are also working to bring a coordinated effort of blockchain technology into insurance. And it's going to be interesting as that technology in insurance develops how it's going to help make improvements to the maritime industry. There's an organization or a group that we wanted to just briefly highlight when it comes to blockchain for the maritime industry, and that's an organization called Block Shipping, and their website is blockshipping.io. We'll have a link to them down below. They're doing some pretty interesting things on developing blockchain technology. Now, if you're watching this video, this is in June of 2018. So if you're watching this and it's 2020, this is probably really old news and there's going to be a lot of advancements. So make sure you look at the date when you're watching this to see, because blockchain technology, even in the maritime industry, is changing and updating rapidly. One of the things that Block Shipping is doing is putting together what they call the GSCP, or the Global Shared Container Platform. And what they're doing in the development of this right now is to be able to look at different ways across a pretty wide swath of the maritime industry to look at how they can use this to make improvements to how things happen within the maritime industry. And they're talking about just a wide range of things when it comes to transactions, environmental, security, overcapacity, the rating system. So there's a lot of things that they're looking to put in this. Right now, again, at the date of the recording of this vlog, this technology is still in development. They say on their website that they could see a savings, or that the industry, specifically the maritime cargo industry, could see a savings of roughly $5.7 billion US when it comes to the full integration of their technology in the next few years. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. There is still a lot of development that needs to take place, not just with block shipping, but blockchain across the maritime industry. Advances are happening fairly rapidly with this technology, but there's going to be also a time period for this to actually get implemented and actually for people to adopt the technology. As designers and developers, we can come up with some of the greatest ideas, but if the market just doesn't adopt it, the technology is going to die on the vine. So we have to see, as this rolls out, which technologies under blockchain for the maritime industry that the market is really going to grab onto, and which ones they're going to reject. So with all of that being said, as you guys know, we're developing our ARMS software platform, which stands for the Automated Risk Management Solution. The software platform is a real-time risk and threat platform for the maritime industry that's all geolocation specific. It's a really exciting platform. We have a link to our website down below so you can get more information about that. One of the things that we are actually building our own blockchain into the back-end management of the software. So it's really cool to see that this has been a great tool for us to use internally to be able to track all of the risk and intelligence information that is going into the platform. It's not going to be a public block at this point, but just a great way for us internally, from kind of a trusted standpoint, for us to track everything that happens into and record into the backside of the platform. We know, as we look at plans for the future for the ARMS software platform, that there's a number of uses or potential uses that we see for blockchain technology within the ARMS platform. So as we push forward with the development of this, it's going to be really cool to see how we use blockchain, but also with the integration of blockchain very early on in the development of the platform, how we're going to be able to use that to integrate into other software applications in platforms across the maritime industry. Hey, thanks for joining us today on the vlog. We really appreciate all the viewers that we have. It is a worldwide audience. It is so cool to connect with you guys when I go to different conferences. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and make sure you recommend this to your friends in the maritime industry, because if you like the content, most likely they will. And along those same lines, for all the videos you like, make sure you punch that like button so we know which direction you guys want us to go with content. Make sure you connect to us and join the conversation through our social media that's detailed in the banner above and also in the comments section below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notified immediately when we put out new content. Remember, if there's anything that we can do for you when it comes to maritime regulatory compliance, maritime risk management, or maritime security, make sure you don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we're always happy to steer you in the right direction.